I am glad to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to congratulate you on the past holidays and wish you every success this year. And I would like to start with a topic that worried many fans of Gothic who studied in detail the world and lore of the game. The size of Mind Valley seems to be rather modest compared to the same Gothic 2 and even more so Gothic 3. However, today we find out the exact numbers based on the estimates that the Piranha Bytes show us. Enjoy watching. We'll start with the Mind Valley. Namely, from Gothic 1. In fact, the size of the game map of Gothic 1 is known to us. In the description of the game, it is indicated that the barrier surrounds an area 2,000 meters in diameter. That is, 4 square kilometers. We can verify this using data from the game. Where one step is nameless, it will be equal to 0.7 meters. That is, 1 meter if rounded. We find a flat piece of terrain where the measurements will take place. We count each step and move to the editor. Draw a segment and apply it to the entire length of the map horizontally and vertically. We got 1015 meters horizontally and 945 meters vertically. Now we multiply these numbers by each other and we get the number 959,175 square meters. This is the area of the Mind Valley in square meters. We will not subtract water since it occupies only a small part of the square we took. If rounded up, it will be 0.9 square kilometers. Well, it looks like the data from the description is not correct. Slightly more than 4 times smaller than the real ones. However, this can be attributed to the big ambitions of the Piranhas early in development. After all, then the game was planned to be more ambitious. Now let's look at the world of Gothic 2. We do the same operation as in Gothic 1. As the best place, the shopping area of Khorinis was chosen. Here is a 50-meter stretch. As a result, we get the following results: 850 meters horizontally and 850 meters vertically, which is equal to 722,500 square meters. And this is 0.7 square kilometers. These are the dimensions of the central Khorinis. Mind Valley in Gothic 2 is 0.6 square kilometers, which is exactly 1/3 smaller than the Mind Valley from Gothic 1. As a result, we can conclude that Khorinis is actually smaller than the Mind Valley. Despite the fact that it felt like it always seemed more ambitious. It is not difficult to explain this discrepancy. In fact, Khorinis is indeed smaller than the Mind Valley. Although not much. But the province itself, unlike Gothic 1, is filled with mountains. Locations are divided into logical zones surrounded by obstacles in the form of mountains, sea, and rivers, forming a kind of labyrinth with small zones of free movement. Due to the fact that the player almost 100% of the time looks at the mountains from the bottom up, moving from one location to another, he does not know how big the map really is. It seems to him that he has come a long way, although in fact he is located 50 meters from the starting point. For example, the starting location in Gothic 2 is Zarda's Tower. Few people know that the passage to the Mind Valley is literally a few meters behind the mountain. Although playing in first person, it seemed that this mountain range is much more massive. A similar scheme was in Arcania. The only difference is the absence of invisible walls in Khorinis and the freedom of movement across all locations at once. Albeit consistently. However, we have forgotten Jarkendar. I think for everyone it is obvious that Jarkendar, although it was very confusing, did not shine in size. It's time to check it out. Jarkendar stretches 690 meters horizontally and 630 meters vertically. It is 434,700 square meters and 0.4 square kilometers. It turns out that Jarkendar is not that small. The thing is that the location itself is mostly mountains. If in Khorinis there were vast locations surrounded by thin mountains, then in the Valley of Builders there were small locations surrounded by large mountains. Because of this, it seems smaller than it really is. Let's summarize some of the sizes of the locations of the first 2 parts and compare their sizes. Mind Valley, Gothic 1, 0.9 square kilometers. Mind Valley, Gothic 2, 0.6 square kilometers. Khorinis, Province, 0.7 square kilometers. Jarkendar, 0.4 square kilometers. Erdarath Island, 0.2 square kilometers. The whole game map in total has a size of 2.2 square kilometers. Not so much, but everything is learned by comparison. Is not it? Actually, though, we forgot one more location that everyone is forgetting about. The so-called Southern Lands. In the community, this territory is called Drachia because of the map of Don Esteban, where this territory was present. It is repeatedly mentioned by some characters in Gothic 2. Mike Hogue also confirmed in personal correspondence that this territory is not fiction. There is almost no information about this territory, but based on the map that hangs in the Piranha Bytes office, it is 2 times smaller than the Mine Valley. Together with the rest of the map, the whole of Khorinis is 2.7 square kilometers. Now let's move on to comparing the sizes of the game map of Gothic 2 and other games. But first, let's look at what size Khorinis would have if we took into account lower size. Sometimes these values can be different, right? Khorinis is about 3 times more lower than the real Khorinis. About 8.1 square kilometers. Now let's move on to comparisons with other games. Well, maybe I shed some light on the size of the game world of Gothic 1 and Gothic 2. Yes, the game map of Khorinis is quite small compared to many games. However, it was the atmosphere and elaboration of this world that made it infinitely large for us. After all, 20 years later, we find something new in the old game. Thanks for attention. If you like this video, I will release the second part, where I will break down the dimensions of the Gothic 3 game map. See you soon.